Hello, 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 everybody. How's everybody doing? Yeah, I'm on time. Usually. Dick. All right, let's go. Yeah. Farewell, my turnabout. Let's solve the case. Dude, I can't believe that Adrian. No way. Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. She is your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was... well, her. So, after the ceremony, during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See, she could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your hakama. Huh. Because she was the one that came to wake me up? Then, dude, you're saying it really was her? Yes, she is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Carita. But why? I thought she was just buds with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about, dude? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of the day. Give me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze. Okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix. You think her motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide note, right? Yeah? Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impact's as her strength and reason to live. But then Miss Impact suddenly killed herself. It sounds like she left a suicide note and the person thought to have hidden it. And the person thought to have hidden it is Juan Carita, the victim of this murder. And that's why I think that Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Carita. All to get the suicide note back. That sounds plausible. But one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about their relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impact's? It was Edgeworth. It looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Carita's room. What is your occupation? I am the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt Angard. I see. Now then! Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yes, sure. What is it? I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland. If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Carita. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself. So it was a fry and bake matter. Was that bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing. But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that. I think there's someone who would beg to differ. I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews. Very well then. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. Alright. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. And there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the same exact scene as in the crime scene photo. Let me just double check everything. It's been a minute. I've had a lot of stuff to remember. So the crime scene photo. See, she's probably gonna say she came in with that, but no, it was already here. It felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. Why? You poured yourself a glass of juice? Yes. Sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of the crime. And I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that is when the fingerprints in the wine glass were made, Your Honor. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Phoenix, she's one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yeah, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. Disrupt her pacing? She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over, understand? Yeah, sure. And how, oh, yeah, I gotta save, I gotta keep saving. Forgot how low I was. Uh-oh. Keep talking. Now, what was Mr. On Guard doing at that time? He was taking a nap. He was worn out from his mini performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony. Mr. On Guard did say he was taking a nap. Then I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes? Excuse me? It? What are you? Right, I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence without a subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. On Guard's knife from his room? No. Subject, verb, object, right. Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue. And why did you do that? As a friendly gesture. Juan was to make an appearance with the other heroes. So the show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? Press further, sure. Is that the only reason? I beg your pardon? What are you implying? You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim. Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions in mind at the time. I can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence, I guess. May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got to his room? You were in shock? What? What was that? Was I not supposed to be? Miss Andrews is a very calculating person. And despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Kurita. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. And you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not. I see. This is the photo you're referring to, correct? Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest. And the guitar case was like this too? Yes, it was open and empty, of course. And then, what did you do next, witness? So why did you pour yourself some juice? Juice. Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There were no lip marks left in this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body Juan Carita, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank. I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing. What one thing? Never mind. It's no big deal. What was she starting to say just now? Keep pressing! Miss Andrews! I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Actually, so would I. I'm sorry. It's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime scene photo? This mess of glass shards? It was originally on top of the dresser, but when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. Why would you withhold such an important piece of information? I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess. It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony. I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. Where it fell onto the guitar case. No! It fell onto the guitar case, huh? It fell onto the goddamn lid. Let me just because I don't want to go all the way back through all this bullshit. Mr. Judge? Objection! You testify that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct? Yes. I have the answer. Look, just in case I don't want to have to go through all this again. Are you sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case would have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. Well, that's very true. Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case. What is that? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. And what is wrong with that? If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, The glass shards should be inside, not outside the case. Ah! What is your point, Wright? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all? No. Think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Yes, that's right. She didn't implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case. But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be. However, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it? It seems that there is no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case? Sure. The empty guitar case, I believe, is a crucial piece of this puzzle. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. I can't believe I'm doing this either. Alright, I'll follow along, for now. Judge, we have solved like 5 different murders here. Judge, you gotta give Wright the benefit of the doubt. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case. Yes, Your Honor. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. Really? It looks like this really wasn't a very important point. This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. Using anyway to change the topic. A convenient escape for a weak man. Stop looking at me like that, Edgeworth. I'll make out with you. Come here! That smug look. Alright, so keep pressing. What do we got? During your testimony just now, did you remember those events clearly in your mind? Well, you see. Are you sure that you are the one who opened the guitar case? She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer or not. Sounds like her dependent side is taking over. Well, Miss Andrews? Yes, it was me. I'll kiss Edgeworth! Get over here! So, you opened the guitar case then? Yes, well, maybe. Why did you open a guitar case? Huh? Mr. Kurita's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I would think that the first thing you would do would call for help. Not open a guitar case. As the witnesses said multiple times, when she found the dead body, she was dazed. Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. I thought maybe the criminal took it. Why would she care about the bright red guitar? But getting back on topic. Was it really empty? I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside. How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? Have a little professionalism. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials would be over in half the time if you would just pay attention. Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright. Sorry. So there's like nothing here. Was that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body? Yes, that's probably it. I'm not going to get anywhere if I continue pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is with evidence. I guess I should give it a try. Come on, Phoenix. We can't afford to let up on her now. I wasn't planning on letting up, but she's at her weakest now, so this is our chance. Yeah, if we had a weapon to hit her with. I'm sure a weapon is hiding somewhere in the court record, waiting to be found. I feel like it's the missing suicide note. Strangled with a scarf? No, that don't come in play here. So we gotta find out. Bears Kurita's... Only Kurita's fingerprints, huh? You say you opened it. Let me just make sure I don't have to go through all of this again. Good find. Too bad you're a pansy. Deal with it. Objection! There is no way that you are the one who opened the guitar case. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim. Ugh. What is it, Mr. Andrews? You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time? Gloves? Why would you be wearing gloves at the time? It was the night of the awards ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime. That's a little... Sure, strange. You were wearing gloves. Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time? Your fingerprints were found in the wine glass! Take that! I have your proof right here. This wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Yeah. Glasses go. Oh, she's got another pair. She's good. Order, order, order. Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here. But it's just an empty case. I wonder if it really was empty, though. But the guitar! The bright red guitar was at the studio! Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions. What was in the guitar case? What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar. You don't mean it was a bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either. It was the suicide note, wasn't it? I admit, it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves despite the fact in the case. Objection! Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided... Objection! No, Your Honor. Please recall that Miss Andrews testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when this crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I am sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder. Objection! If you are so sure, Wright, I'm sure you could somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please, enlighten us as to why that guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder.
Can you do that, Mr. Wright?
Well, let's suppose for a second. The bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case.
The bright red guitar not being the only thing?
So, you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty? Is that it, Mr. Wright? I wouldn't say it's something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder? I feel like it was the suicide note. Sure, give me the hint. Am I right? The suicide note? Not the note. The wine? I feel like... There's like two pieces of evidence that point to what it is. Like to confess something. Probably not that. Yeah, no. Strangled with a scarf, stabbed with a knife. Well, there's the knife. That's probably not it. No, it can't be Juan's costume. Sure. Need a hint on which page. Which... First page. So somewhere in here. The tomato juice? There's no way it's the tomato juice. I don't want to believe it's the tomato juice. Huh. Tomato juice? Is that it? Is that what you're telling me? Like it can't... Like the Nickel Samurai's our guy. You got two pieces that point to it. The empty case with the water. I know it's not those two. Like the two pieces I have here, the thing that makes me think it is, it's the suicide note. That's why I feel like it is. Let's look back in here. Yeah, no. So it's either something about the confession, which I doubt it is. But then again, what was he trying to confess? But he's not the Nickel Samurai, so what the fuck? Just tell me, is it the fucking wine glass? Like, everything else in there's busted. I'm not piecing it together. The lines are not connecting. Yeah, I knew that. So it's the confession. Right? No. Okay. it's the hitman. It's totally the hitman. Yeah, it can't be the it can't be this. It can't be the camera. It was the costume, wasn't it? It was the Nickel Samurai costume, wasn't it? Because we did get the info that the Nickel Samurai left the room. So, costume. Right? It's gotta be the costume. 1, 2. This is a photograph. Yes, but what is important is what is in that picture, Your Honor. In this picture? It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I am proposing is, inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. What? I just remembered that the Nickel Samurai that left was too short. So the only way for her to get the costume was it was in there. Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Right. Are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to be doing something like that? That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she can make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone else see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct? You mean this photo? Order! Order! It looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we? Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later. So the real murderer was hiding inside of a costume. Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt on guard's. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places? True. This is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case? It was a spare. He was wearing it. It's a spare. Mr. On Guard didn't take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we are talking about, was a spare one. What? Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel? Yes, that is what I'm saying.
And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case?
It would mean that the victim himself brought this spare to the ceremony on purpose.
But why? The victim, Mr. Kurita, was the Jammin' Ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act?
And therein lies the sticking point. What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? No, I just...
Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had this Nickel Samurai spare costume?
Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? I already know. Think carefully before you answer, and then answer with gusto. I believe within you. All right, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai spare costume to the hotel was the confession.
What is this?
On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference.
A press conference?
Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right? But what struck me as strange was that Mr. On Guard himself said he had no idea what he was supposed to be holding. He had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night.
But how can that be?
The way I see it, that can only mean one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Kurita himself.
The victim?
Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Kurita was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai.
He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing?
That's something I don't quite know yet, however. What I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at the conference. The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Kurita, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt on Guard.
Yes, I guess that is what it would mean.
But if that's the case, that's not a confession. That's public disclosure.
Miss Andrews?
I can see why you are pros at what you do.
Pardon me?
Yes, as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan.
This bitch! Miss Andrews! Please offer us an explanation for this!
I was the one he asked to help to set up. Blech. Help set it up. Blah, 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 blah. Words today. And the person who prepared the second costume for him was also me.
You?
Juan had bet everything on the Jammin' Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure that Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway.
He was going to ruin him, huh?
It looked like somehow Juan had it in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed.
What? And do you know what the secret of Mr. On Guard's is, Miss Andrews?
That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is.
Ah, I see.
I've probably been coming off as quite suspicious to everyone. But that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt after all.
Protect Mr. On Guard? And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt I had to protect him. This bitch is... She's like, I give up. I'm throwing him under the bus. Hard. This does account for everything. Well, I am the logical type. We're finally seeing her true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit.
If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I am ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine, Mr. Wright.
It looks like somehow everything is swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. Alright, you bitch. I gotcha. How the fuck did you know this? Would you say that was your intuition speaking to you? Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things. 3 things? A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. There is no decisive evidence! Outside of his fingerprints on the web. Okay, yeah, you got it. This bitch already knew. And if you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. You should have already known that, Phoenix. They didn't teach that to us in school. At least, not from what I remember. May I continue now? So, would you say this need came from the press conference? Yes. Do you know why Juan chose that event and that hotel for the conference? Because that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Matt on guard.
And you knew of this plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews?
Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume. But I'm sure Mr. On Guard himself didn't know anything about the press conference. Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference? Anyway, the important thing here is that this information was not in your testimony.
Yes, I agree. Miss Andrews, please correct your testimony, if you please.
Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright? Alright. Keep pressing. Has Mr. On Guard done something to hurt or betray you personally? Why do you ask? You were the one who helped Mr. Carita with his press conference. And that event was supposed to bring down Mr. On Guard. And yet, you still helped out. Objection! The person on trial right now is Mr. On Guard, right? What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with his plan, is none of our concern. In any case, this means that the defendant had a motive to kill. Why do I keep doing this to myself? But didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. On Guard was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that too was a lie so you could cover for Mr. On Guard? I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, that I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at the time.
I keep trying, but I can't find no flaws with what Miss Andrews said. I can't say the same for some people here in this courtroom, however.
The judge is straight up glaring at me. He's glaring at you, smart guy. How did you know about the button? You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Then, what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought. During the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume.
You're talking about this button, correct?
That button was found in the pleats of Matt's hakama, isn't that correct? I would think that it makes very decisive evidence.
Ugh. Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright. Anyway,
a knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat.
Thank goodness Mia can still look at me.
With an icy stare, yes.
Miss Andrews, for Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony.
That button was torn off Juan during his fight with Matt. Was it really torn? Ripped. Yeah, no, okay. But how did it have blood on it, really? Like, everywhere else is fine. I'm thinking too hard. But what you really did was stab the guy in the back, didn't you? And at the worst possible time. Who's to say she really stabbed the guy in the back, as you put it? This witness could have disclosed things about Mr. On Guard at any time. Why, then, would she wait until there was a large audience before doing so? It's the same reason why Mr. Kurita planned such an elaborate conference. Miss Andrews wanted to cause Mr. On Guard as much damage as she possibly could. This witness bears ill will towards the defendant. This isn't the Phoenix Wright Wax Philosophical Power Hour. And please, stop slandering the witness. As I expected, Miss Andrews' testimony seems pretty solid. Really? Because to me it sounded a little wishy-washy. Wishy-washy? I guess we'll see if I press a little more. You should know this by now, but you'll need strong, decisive evidence to make her talk. Got it, Chief. I'm going to pin you down this time, Miss Andrews. Alright. So something in here. So, Juan was actually lower in the popularity boards. He was higher. So if anything, Juan had the motive to kill. That button was torn off Juan during his fight with Matt. But it wasn't. He was strangled and then stabbed. This happened during the stab. You know what I mean? Am I going crazy here? Like, how does it get tangled in his hakama? Except during the strangling. And the strangling would have left no blood. Right? So, just to save us some time, in case I fuck up. Like, how was it found in his pants? When? Number 1. Look up here. Found in pants. Cool. Look there. Up on his chest. That's a whole thing. How can it find its way into his pants unless it's planted there? And how can it get the blood on it if it wasn't after the stabbing? So, one of these is the right thing. So it's either the autopsy report, the button, or the photo. I feel like it's the button here. Because again, it's found in his pants, but it's up here. And pants are down low. Am I correct, Canadian? In the button. Not the button. The photo. Like, exactly where it is. You're not... This motherfucker. Strangled with a scarf. Then stabbed. This is probably it. Because the strangling causes the most here. It causes the most struggle, and the blood would be... It would not be there. That's what I feel like. Fingers crossed?
Objection!
The music stopped. I got it right. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off the costume when? After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly. Which means it's impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle, because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. Nah. That's right, Miss Andrews. There is no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off the victim's already dead body. Order! Order! What is the meaning? What is the meaning of this, Wright? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know that this button was not torn off during the fight. So, the murderer took the time and effort to purposefully rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with this button? What was it? To pin the crime. There was only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. On Guard. There is no way anyone would put a bloodied button in their own pants. That's right, Mr. On Guard was set up. By the real killer, of course. And the real murderer is? Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then? Finally! I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. On Guard, is... Adrian Andrews. It's the whole thing, Adrian. It's gotta be Adrian. The way they make me choose, it's the only option is Adrian. We don't even have the killer in here. Miss Adrian Andrews, I choose you. You are Mr. Corita's killer. What?
Order, order, order! Mr. Wright! This is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge? Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews.
Well, how preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me.
I can't I?
Would you care to test me? Then, what about this knife?
The knife was used to stab the victim after he'd already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. On Guard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could have only been taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you.
Yeah.
How many glasses do you have, girlie?
Then, what about the button that was found in Matt's Hakama?
This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. On Guard was the real killer, there is no way he could have put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama.
Yeah.
The only person who could have put this button into Mr. On Guard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him up from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews. I see. Then what about the empty guitar case? That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity, as they fled this crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was just such a costume inside the guitar case? It could have only been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews.
No,
But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found in the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. That's right. That's because she did not intend on leaving any fingerprints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So, to avoid leaving any fingerprints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that, yes, indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. Yeah. And to top it all off, there is this photo. A photo of the killer as they exit the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on Earth can believe that this nickel samurai is Mr. On Guard. He would have been much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, aren't you?
Please stop.
Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time. Miss Andrews?
I refuse to testify.
What was that?
There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me.
Well, yes. You are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination by allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves.
What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot.
Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. On Guard's room. Adrian Andrews.
Yes?
Think hard about what we just discussed, understood?
Alright.
Mr. Phoenix Wright. It's me, the ghost of Von Karma. That's when Franziska planted this idea into her head. She must have told Andrews not to testify if things looked bad.
You did a good job of proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there's still one thing you haven't done.
Something I haven't done?
What's wrong, Wright?
Oh, you finished already?
Run out of evidence?
What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless.
What?
Everything you have proven is circumstantial.
Circumstantial?
Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Kurita.
I mean, Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Kurita?
I believe this may lead me to incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering.
But, Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think?
Maybe so, or maybe not. There is nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence.
No! She's taking that defiant attitude again! Mia! What should we do?
Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation.
I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify. And the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid definitive proof. But that's not true! In this situation, there is only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess. Recess? I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter. And at tomorrow's trial... Tomorrow? We will have a tomorrow!
If we don't get a guilty verdict today, then...
Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial.
What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he?
That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya... But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is...
Is it not possible? It is not impossible for this trial to continue.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you...
It's true Miss Andrew holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony.
Yes, that is very true, but...
Actually, there is one little thing I'm curious about. Miss Andrews, when you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they're shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect.
Testify?
Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know.
The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please.
Yeah! 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 I can kiss you again, Edgeworth!
That glass of juice. I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to go pour him juice. Then I realized he was dead, and that's when I knocked the flower vase over.
So you poured that glass of juice for the victim? Why didn't you just say so in your earlier testimony?
I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left.
I know.
Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours?
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Alright, so keep pressing. But there wasn't anyone else in the room, right? Of course not. Then, who did you pour it for? Mr. Wright, there was a rhyme and reason for everything. Can you wait just a little longer for it to be revealed to you? In other words, Wright, be quiet and listen. Precisely. I couldn't have said it better myself. So, it was a mess. Are you sure it wasn't messy because of your fight with Mr. Kurita? I understand your frustrations at not being able to prove your theory. However, before you go accusing people of crimes, go find yourself some evidence. And then, what did you see next, witness? Slumped over? Yes. He was just sitting there with his head tilted forward, his eyes closed. He really looked like he was sleeping. Is it just me, or did that right there sound a little odd? Then what did cross your mind? I thought maybe he had smashed everything in anger because he lost the Grand Prix. And then he felt tired after his rampage, so he decided to take a nap. Anyways, that's what I thought.
I see. So you didn't think he was dead at all?
Why would you pour him some juice if he fainted? You thought he fainted. I thought he was asleep at first. But then the room was in such a messy state. I thought maybe he had gotten into a fight with someone. And that's when you went to go pour the glass of juice? Yes, he always had a hard time waking up. So Juan has always had a glass of tomato juice to drink.
I see. And after that, what happened next?
And how did you come to realize that he was in fact dead? I shook him over and over, but never got a response. So I set the glass down on the dresser and tried to take his pulse. I was shocked and staggered backward. And knocked the flower vase over. So that's what happened. I see something. This is what it all comes down to. Huh? This is the absolute end for both sides, and Adrian is letting her guard down. Phoenix, now is the best chance yet to kill the prosecution's case. Isn't that a bit harsh? Miss Andrews, will you tell us the truth this time? So you said you checked his pulse and felt him up. There were no fingerprints. And how are you checking his pulse with the scarf around his neck? Huh. I feel like it's this? But then again, the autopsy report would have shown off, like, fingerprints, right? Because she said she left fingerprints. So it's either the photo or the autopsy report. The autopsy report would have been like, you couldn't figure it out. You'd even mention the knife poking out of him. How do you think he just fainted with a knife sticking out of him? Right? Right? Am I going crazy? It's gotta be that. Big brain. I don't want to fuck it up. Yeah. I feel like it's the photo. How do you think he fainted with a knife sticking out? So, you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him? No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body? Ah!
What is the meaning of this?
Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There's a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Kurita's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought there was a dead man. That's... well, you see... Wait a minute, let me just double check that photo real fast. It's barely into him. It's like a few centimeters into him. I don't even know how that knife's staying in him. You know what I mean? In this photo, it's barely in there. Just putting it out. That's, well, you see, I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted. And then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink.
Your point is?
Miss Andrews, your testimony just now was one giant lie. And your lie has proven one thing very clearly. That you are the real killer. Yeah.
It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt Ungard, is not guilty after all.
But that's impossible, you're wrong.
Miss Andrews? Try to have some composure.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt. I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan. But you are the one who refused to testify. And your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself. That's because...
Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you?
I refuse to testify.
Then there is no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matt Ungard's innocence has been clearly demonstrated.
Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't.
Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt Ungard.
Objection!
Fuck!
Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down the verdict at this time.
What?
The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute, real truth.
The absolute, real truth? What are you?
Witness, don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted this silly idea into your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt Ungard will go free. And in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you. What? This motherfucker... I'm gonna crack it open. What is it? When you update the autopsy report, motherfucker. I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty. What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it? I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Franziska von Karma. Ah, don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly into the words of another. Because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. Then right now, Miss Andrews is... Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss Von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Matt Ungard will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now, and is clinging on to them. Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across something like this. But Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get our not guilty. That's my only priority. It wasn't me. I'm begging you. Please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Help, please. Someone, help me.
Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor?
The court can continue like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do.
What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? By the way, if you mess up, Phoenix gives up being a lawyer. Great! What am I supposed to say? Well, let me just... AKA the bad ending. Right, I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime. Who's the real mastermind? Isn't it obvious? There's no one else it could be except for the woman crying over there. Right? Come now. What will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Andrews? That's the bad ending. That is the bad ending right there. That is it. I'm gonna keep this save here so we can see the other ending. I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you are really hiding.
Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing?
Sure. Mr. Ungard would get an acquittal, but in his place, you would be found guilty. Is this really how you want this trial to end? Be quiet! How dare you! You're trying to trick me.
That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it is clear that the defense's theory is the truth.
You're wrong. What a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't come to this. However...
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Stop!
Mr. Edgeworth?
This witness... How should I put this? She has an illness.
What?
And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. Stop! Please stop! No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here. Yeah! That's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I am about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world. Please stop, I beg you. If people find out, I'll... If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me.
Edgeworth, how can you be so cold?
However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips, no matter what I have to do. So, will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me. I'll talk. But please, help me. Nothing matters anymore.
Uh-oh. Well, good job. You put her back in the suicidal state. Congratulations, Edgeworth. Do you feel happy now?
When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then I stabbed Juan's dead body with the knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using the Nickel Samurai costume.
You dumb motherfucker! She found him already dead! I knew he was a fucking hitman! What? That fucking name! That's as subtle as a fucking Hideo Kojima name! Yeah! Great! You dumb, stupid! Stab the body? With a knife? Why would you do that?
Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man.
What do you mean by all of this?
It might take this court a little while to understand, but this is the truth. The real killer is Matt, that scumbag of a man. I will never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time.
Last time?
So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Carita, in the chest with a knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt on guard for the murder. And this is her crime.
What? How was this possible? Phoenix, think back. Think back. Just saying, Phoenix. I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? This is her being dead honest, man. Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination. But you could tell from the state the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say that you did not know he was dead?
He had a scarf tied around his neck. But that scarf is part of the Jammin' Ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. Also, that's why I thought I'd wake him up and went to pour the juice.
What is this plan you had?
I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because Juan, he was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence to pin this crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, yep. That was so you could get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at the dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought that if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes toward him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. So you were the one that stabbed the victim with that knife. It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did.
You actually didn't go all that deep, just saying.
But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then, when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used the button to somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspect. So you thought to rip one of the buttons off and plant it in Mr. On Guard Sakama. Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? An inconvenience? There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway.
I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lotta.
There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth.
That's Miss Oldbag for you.
I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again.
You were the one that prepared that costume, weren't you?
Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it into Juan's guitar case a day before the award ceremony. You did it in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes, Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there.
And what is this? What is this big secret?
That, I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in a Nickel Samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume.
I think we've heard enough. So, after that, you went back to Mr. On Guard's room and planted the button?
Into Matt Sakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. And then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it.
My word! What does all this mean? That means all the evidence leaning towards Matt here is all circumstantial as well. And our real killer is D Killer.
Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt On Guard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk.
Franziska, huh?
She said that I should, under no circumstances, confess what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words.
What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain that she is not the real killer.
Wait, Your Honor. The defense still... Right? It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything.
Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer.
There is! There is so many!
The cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit, so please let it go, Mr. Wright. But, Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning.
Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately.
That is all. Court is adjourned for today.
Uh-oh. No guilty or non... Okay. Maya's dead now. Good job. I don't think Maya's dead. Today's Today's trial, it's over. And I didn't win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I asked you something?
Edgeworth?
What is it? Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. I remember just now. I found this in the room on that day. The room? That day? Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there next to him.
You found that card next to the victim's body.
I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right?
Yes! Yes! It's a calling card! It's a fucking calling card! It's a calling card of the killer! He didn't want this bitch to steal his goddamn bullshit!
But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see why.
Witness! That card! Give it to me! Hurry!
Edgeworth?
Do you have any idea what you have stupidly, yet inadvertently done? This... I can't believe you hid this from me all this time!
I didn't mean to. What is all this about?
I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before.
This dumb bitch held the calling card! The card! What in the world is it? And what does it mean? Phoenix! 1 + 1! Kidnapper! Came to you to get this case. Get the acquittal for the guy getting framed. His name is D. Goddamn Killer.
I give up. I give up, Phoenix. You're fucking stupid. At least Edgeworth pieced it together. Mystic Maya! Mystic Maya! There, Pearls. I can't take it anymore. Yeah. Wah. No, wait, Wah. Look, it'll be alright. Everything may still work out. Huh? The condition was that we had to get a not guilty verdict. And so far, the kidnapper has kept his word and hasn't hurt Maya. And he won't because Mr. On Guard hasn't been given a guilty sentence yet. Shut the fuck up. Cheer up. We don't have time to stand around crying. We have to get going. You're right. Mystic Maya is in much more pain than I am. Yeah, that's right. So...
Hey, you guys! I'm glad I caught you, pal.
Mr. Scruffy Detective. Oh boy. Looks like Detective Gunshoe has been dubbed Mr. Scruffy Detective in Pearls' book now. I mean, yeah, he's based off of Columbo, so...
It's just plain old Mr. Dick Gumshoe now, and I came to talk to you, pal.
But we're kind of busy right now. What do you want, bud? So, what are you going to do from now on?
What do you mean, pal?
Well, you've been fired, right? So, do you have a new job lined up yet, or...?
Oh, that. What am I supposed to do now, pal? I don't have anything coming in at all until my next payday.
What are you talking about?
You don't have another payday. I guess that means I'm gonna have to work here at your place, pal.
Say what?
You'll be searching for things that will prove Mr. On Guard's innocence all day, right?
Well, yeah?
So, yeah, I'm going to help you, pal. I've got lots of experience investigating and watching over people's places. And I'm great at making really simple meals, pal. I'll take care of it all.
Come on, Mr. Nick. Let's let Mr. Scruffy Detective take care of things. Okay. By the way, what's your best dish?
Instant noodles, pal.
Why am I surrounded by people who can only eat cheap, unhealthy foods?
That was the first time I've ever seen Mr. Edgeworth act like that. Never thought he'd say something like, he didn't care if Miss Andrews killed herself.
He said that? That's horrible.
But because of him doing that, we got the truth, finally.
The truth. Miss Andrews' last testimony. I wonder if that was the truth. I'll give you that there was nothing strange in her testimony itself, but I still think there's something fundamentally wrong with the whole thing.
You mean about that thing, pal?
Why would she want to... No, I mean almost need to frame Mr. On Guard. I couldn't figure that out from anything she said all day.
Then, you're saying that the testimony was a lie?
Not a lie, per se. It just feels like there's more than meets the eye. Transformers! Or, that's what Edgeworth would like us to believe. That's such a dirty trick! Even that woman prosecutor was better than that. Franziska von Karma. Speaking of Miss von Karma, do you have any more information on her condition? Wasn't she shot this morning?
Miss Von Karma was shot today on the way to the trial by a pistol, pal.
But she's going to be fine, right? I mean, Edgeworth said she was in stable condition, but...
Well, she was shot in the shoulder, so she's okay and still hanging in there.
There's some squirty bits in there. That means he's a good shot.
They should be done taking the bullet out, so she's probably resting at the hospital.
Which one?
What? Are you going to visit her, pal?
No. Well, I was kind of thinking about it.
Hey, you've actually got a heart, don't you? She looked like she was being tortured to death and not being able to go to the trial today. So, maybe it'd be good for you, good for her, if you went and let her whip you for a bit, pal.
Let's go let her whip us, Mr. Nick. Pearl? I think you're a little young to be wanting that. Now I'm definitely not going.
Well, let's see. The name of the hospital. Oh yeah, the Hottie Clinic. Fuck!
That name sends a chill down my spine. Well, I guess it can't hurt to stop by and say hi. Alright. Please don't let that guy be here. Please don't let that guy be here. Please don't let that guy be here. Never thought I'd ever come back to this place. Fuck! Yes. Are you here to visit the patient? Hi. Wait a second, you're... yes. I'm Director Hottie. Why are you still here? Yes. What is it? Can I help you? You can call me... yes. Director Hottie. Edgeworth? Yes, I'm Director Hottie. Oh, you're the man from this morning. Yes. What is it? Director. Franziska. How is Franziska von Karma? You don't need to worry. Yes, she's in good hands. Because you see, I'm personally taking good care of her. Yes. Yes, and that thing, that surgery, it went well. You have my gratitude. It looks like Edgeworth doesn't know about this director and his secrets. She looks so pitiful. Absolutely terrified. Yes. But I understand.
Yes. Her opponent was a gun, after all. And when I snuck up on her real secret, like, she would scream really loud. Yes.
I see.
Ah, but she's really cute, too. When I do that, she'd whip me with her whip.
Of fucking course he's into it. Of course he's into that shit. I don't like you.
Boy, did I cry like a baby. Yes. But I think I could get used to it.
Look, hottie. I respect your taste. But maybe not the whip. That fucking winky face. I don't like it. I don't. I should make that an emote. Franziska isn't a minor, is she? She's 18. She's good. We're good. I would have easily thought she was like 20. She's whipping everybody. How old are you, hottie? Oh, one sec. Do we have you in here? No, of course not. Ah! Go back to your room. You're so mean. So mean. My frisky Franziska. Ah! Okay. Yes. It's time for my IV drops. Yes.
And what are those tulips doing in your hands, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
Ah! I knew I shouldn't have come here.
How you doing? I was shot in front of the courthouse in my right shoulder. It's no big deal. This sort of thing happens all the time. I haven't had full intentions of running the trials this morning. But that would have been too much for you.
There's no need to act tough in front of us, you know?
Regardless, I was dragged here by that man over there. He was so unyielding. One has to wonder if he was simply interested in stealing my case.
It was the only logical course of action, given the bullet was still lodged in your shoulder. Wait, what? No, I believe Hottie is the old, like, ugly bastard. I thought she was like 20. He's clearly got the ugly bastard tag. But by taking over this case, I've found myself having to clean up after you and that irresponsible deal you made. I think I know what deal he's referring to. Miss Von Karma, you made a deal with Miss Andrews yesterday, didn't you?
I don't know what you mean.
In order to make sure you got your guilty verdict... I said guilty. Fuck. Damn you! Franziska Von Karma and my fucking bullshit German. You're infecting everybody. In order to make sure you got your guilty verdict on Mr. On Guard, you told Miss Andrews not to testify in court today.
I don't know what you're talking about. Do you have proof that I made such a deal?
You're denying it?
It looks like you were lucky, Mr. Phoenix Wright. If I had been in court today, this trial would have already been over.
All while hiding Miss Andrews' own crime?
That isn't my problem. Whether she tampered with the evidence or not. I only have one objective. To find On Guard guilty of murder. The end justifies the means, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The end justifies the means.
Miss Von Karma, Adrian Andrews believed you when you said, if you don't tell the truth of what really happened, then Mr. On Guard will be found guilty.
And what does that have to do with me?
Because of that, she is in danger of being found guilty herself.
All because she believed in your words until the very end. That still has nothing to do with me. She's just a weak person, that's all. But you had to know she was... Ah! I think visiting hours here are about over. So, if you'll excuse me... What's wrong? Why did she suddenly cut you off? Probably because she thinks I had the advantage in that argument. Edgeworth. So how you doing, bud? What happened today at the trial, Edgeworth? That was not like you at all. I mean, I know you knew about Miss Andrews' condition. You could have made her testify as many times as you wanted, but to go that far? But she wouldn't testify about that until I'd said something. Listen, Wright. The courtroom is a garden of judgment. I am putting myself on the line when I stand in there. And that's why I made the witness do the same. It's only natural. So what about the card, bud? By the way, Edgeworth. You were really angry in court today. That's rare for you. Witness! That card! Give it to me! Hurry! Do you have any idea what you have stupidly yet inadvertently done? This... I can't believe you hid this all from... hid this from me all this time! Words! That card. What in the world is it? You mean this? Listen, Wright. This is top secret information. You absolutely cannot leak this. A special investigations team has existed for a number of years, but few know of it. I understand. Their task is to find the owner of this card. A man named Shelly the Killer. And just as his name states, he is a killer. An assassin. The best at that. I fucking knew it! What else would he have been? What else would he have been? He's not just a kidnapper, he's the killer, and he wanted his credits. An assassin? So who the fuck hired him? So, who is this Shelly the Killer? The Killer is the name of a long-standing line of assassins. A family name? Long-standing? The name first appeared about 100 years ago, I hear. Shelly is the professional name of the third heir to the Killer name. 100 years, 3 names. 3 heirs. Holy shit! Okay, that's a long time. So, because his professional name is Shelly, he leaves cards with a shell on them? He has a habit of making sure to leave a card by the body of his victims. Why would he do something like that? We think it's part of his duty to his clients. His duty? If he leaves a card, then his clients can be assured that it was he who killed the victim. It also serves as insurance against any charges being pushed onto his clients. I see. The Killer values the trust between his clients and himself above all else. It seems that this is an honorable assassin with a moral conscience. I guess that even honorable assassins can exist. So, you think this assassin... You think he's the one who did the killing in this case? It would appear that way. The discovery of that card basically confirms it, wouldn't you agree? Shelly the Killer, huh? I noticed something at the trial today. You were behaving in a very strange manner. Is something the matter? I guess I should just tell him. She's been kidnapped. Kidnapped? What does the kidnapper want? An acquittal. I see. I had no idea. I will prepare a rescue team as soon as possible, and resolve this by tomorrow. Really? Did you hear that, Mr. Nick? Mr. Edgeworth is going to... Stop trying to console me, Edgeworth. I don't need your pity. Mr. Nick? There's no way you can find her.
We don't even have a single lead to go on. There's only one way to save her. I have to get an acquittal somehow. It's the only way. Right? Listen. You need to know something. Juan Carita was killed by Shelly the Killer. And the client who ordered the job is Matt on guard. Your own client. Fuck! Fuck! How the fuck do you know that? Who the fuck told you this? How did... Were you following the money? Please stop. I can't listen to you. I can't believe that. I see. Well, if you want to continue your investigation, you will need this. What is it? The hotel right now is restricted to police personnel only, as we are looking for any clues that might lead us to Shelly the Killer. But if you take this with you to the hotel, I'm sure they will let you enter. In any case, I must attend to the preparations for Maya's rescue team. We'll meet again. If anything should happen, if you'll excuse me. Mr. Nick, do you think Mr. On Guard hired an assassin? No way. I mean, he doesn't have a psyche lock. Yeah, I guess not. Maya. Please, all I ask is you to make it home. Safe and sound. Meanwhile, with Maya... I guess even kidnappers can be a little clumsy. Clumsy enough to drop a card like this for me. And even though he said he was an assassin, I bet he's just making that up. Like how Nick does with everything in court. Anyway, let's just try out the card trick with this card I just found. Sounds like I got the door to open. Okay, time to go take a look around. What is this place? I've got a feeling I'm not in the hotel anymore. Are those videos over there? Well, I'll worry about that later. For now, I should be looking for clues. That way I could show them the cyst and maybe get out of here. What's here? There's a framed picture sitting on this coffee table. It's a picture of a woman. She's kind of pretty. Yeah? Hey, it looks like something's written here. Let's see. I think it says, "With love, Celeste." I think this could be a clue. That's weird. What's a figurine doing on the sofa in a place like this? I think it's a bear. Aw, how cute. But it's got a lot of cuts and slits on it. I wonder if it's some kind of puzzle or something. Oh, hey, it's a computer. I've never really used one before. I have no idea where the power switch on this thing is. Drat, there goes my plan to somehow use this to get out of here. Well, I mean, it would have a password. The power button's right here. Come on. That's a cat. Yeah, locked, of course. It doesn't look like I can use the card to open this door. There's a little hole at the bottom of the door. If only I was a little skinnier, then maybe I'd be able to crawl through there. What is this thing? An antenna, I guess? And is this a VCR? Ah, yes, a VCR. I haven't seen one of those in forever. There sure are a lot of electronic gadgets here. But what is an antenna doing here? Oh, this simply will not do. I cannot have you wandering around at will. Ah! It seems that your Mr. Wright is truly concerned about you. He is? For now, I would suggest that you remain cooperative. If you cannot, there are ways in which I can help you. Ways? You mean... Dead men tell no tales, is how the saying goes. Correct? Dead? I'm almost certain I told you on our first meeting. I am an... assassin. No way.
You're lying. I mean, an assassin.
People are not always who they appear to be. Nick!
So why do you have a signed photo of the dead girlfriend? Oh, yes, Pearls? I get caught up in my thoughts about Maya's situation. Mr. Edgeworth has left, you know. I guess for now I have no choice but to believe in Mr. On Guard. But I think I should listen to his story one more time. Alright, let's get going too. Alright, Mr. On Guard. We gotta talk. I'm sorry, but visiting hours are over for today. Ah. I have too many questions I need to ask. I'm sorry, but I'm Phoenix Wright, a lawyer for one of the... You're Mr. Wright, you say? Oh, yeah, here's a message for you. A message? It's from Man Guard. Here you are. What did he write? Is it something really important? I don't know. Well, let's see what it has to say. To Mr. Lawyer Dude, I've got something really important to tell you. Why do I feel uneasy all of a sudden? Oh, Mr. Wright. So, actually, I have a favor to ask of you. I have this cat named Shu. I didn't put out a lot of food when I left the house, so he's probably pretty hungry. So, you think you could drop by my house and feed Shu for me, dude? My house is just a little ways down from the hotel, alright? This is terrible. Let's hurry. We have to feed this cat. I'm sure poor Shu's stomach is growling by now. Yeah, I guess. A client's request is a request. I guess I should go check up on his cat. Alright. Oh, why? I can't just... Alright, fine. Alright, now, Mr. Nick. Let's go look for clues. We have to, for Mystic Maya's sake. You shall not pass. Miss Oldbag! Don't devalue my name and turn it into a gasp, you spiky-haired pettifogger! Because of you, I've been made to look like the bad guy again! Although I did get a piece of gum from Edgy Boy, just as he promised. It's all your fault! You've awakened the old beast! Miss Oldbag! She's wearing a fishbowl for a helmet. She can't breathe in that thing. Keep your hands off of me! This helmet's airtight! No air gets in and no air gets out! Nah. Then why do you keep putting it on? Don't think you can get me to move with silly questions. You're going to have to defeat me if you want to get by. I'm not hearing this. Hey! You want something? Maybe if I show her this letter I got from from Edgeworth. Miss Oldbag, if you would take a look at... What? You want me to look at this worthless piece of... Edgy poo. Ugh. Is that her perfume? Pheromone d'Armor I smell? Ugh. Let's see here. Would you please allow this unsophisticated young person to conduct this investigation? Yours truly, Miles Edgeworth. Yours truly? That man's good at flattery. Fine, but only because Edgy Poo said so, you understand? I just thought of something I have to do. Remember, no messing around. You do anything bad and I won't let you off the hook! This motherfucker giving me all sorts of links. Let's look! Boss won't let you take a vacation? Miles Edgeworth just says, just write a fake suicide note. What are they gonna do? Fire a dead man? Sounds about right, to be honest. That may be, but You know nothing's gonna come of it. That's so mean, Mr. Nick. Feelings are meant to be told and shared. Ow. Every time we talk about love, I always end up with a handprint on my face somehow. Ugh. So, anyway, let's continue our investigation. Okay. Ah! What now? One little thing before I forget. You can't go into On Guard's room today. Why? The police's main investigation team are going to be in there all day, you hear? I wonder if they're the team in charge of investigating the killer. So don't go in there. Set one foot in there and you'll face the wrath of Wendy Oldbag. Okay, fine. Giga bitch. Into the living room we go. Ah, sure is dark. I'll go turn on the light. Oh god! Why the fuck do you have a bike just hanging from the ceiling? That's not cool. That is not cool at all. I do not like. That is gaudy. Wow. So this is what a star's house looks like. Must be nice to be rich. Come on, Mr. Nick. Let's go find Shoo, the kitty cat. Shoo! Oh, found the cat. I've only known Shoo for 5 seconds. But if anything happens to this cat, I will kill everyone and then myself. Ah, what a lovely cat. Hello, Shoo. The cat seems to like pearls. Pardon me. Fuck! Hey! You good, dog? May I help you with something, mister? Oh. We're lawyers. Actually, I'm Mr. On Guard's lawyer. The Masters. Then, you must be Mr. Wright. Yes? Ah. It is a pleasure to meet your wonderful self. Phoenix, do you not recognize this man's face? You don't forget a fucking scar like that. Fine, whatever. I am the family butler, John Doe. Nice to meet you. 1 sec. Big brain time. Time to die. No, let's just talk. You must know all sorts of things about Mr. On Guard, right? Honestly, sir, I don't believe my master is capable of such a foul deed as murder. You would recognize a man's face like this. And, anything else? No, not especially. It is not appropriate for a lowly servant to speak of the master or his affairs. Ah. How typically butler-like, as it were. So, Mr. Doe, how long have you served at this residence? Well, sir, I would have to say maybe about 1 year. Huh. And, anything else? No, not especially. It's not appropriate for a lowly servant to speak of himself and his affairs. You know, I would have thought Mr. On Guard to be the kind to have a maid over a butler. I mean, yeah, that sounds about right. That's a very cute cat you got there. It is my duty to take care of him. The master rather fancies Shoo. And, anything else? No, not especially. It is not appropriate for a lowly servant to speak of the family cat. Well then, I guess I don't need this piece of scrap paper anymore. Well, I'm afraid I must take my leave. Must take my leave of you now. Oh, we should probably get going ourselves. Ah, so young, and yet already so accomplished as a master of law. But there is also a lot to be proud of in being a butler. In charge of the house and all. Thank you for the compliment. Oh, I've been doing his voice this entire time. Whatever. Fine. But people are not always who they appear to be. Now, if you'll excuse me. Quick. Maya's in that room! Maya's in there! There's a small door at the bottom of the bigger door, Mr. Nick. I bet it's for Mr. On-Guard's cat to use. Oh, you mean Shoe. The door, it's locked tight. Well, I guess that's to keep nosy people like me from entering it. A giant bicycle is flying through the air! That bicycle, Pearls, is one where you don't have to pedal it. It moves on its own. Really? Wow! But, sorry to disappoint you, it can't fly. Oh, that's too bad. Like, nothing else? Oh, there's a giant cooking hearth here. That's actually a fireplace. How are they different, Mr. Nick? You know, I've never actually seen a hearth before, so come to think of it. You should come and visit the Fae Manor. Then I'll show you one when you do. Nothing silly. It's just the other samurai. Okay, cool. Viola Hall. Looks like we're the only ones here. And yet, the hotel seems so busy now. Probably because the police team is scouring for clues about D Killer. Hey, you'll see the boy. Look, Lada, you're still here? Wrecking cars. An investigative photographer eats or starves on her ability to snap up the scoop, yeah? And this hotel is just that aura of mystery. You know, like something's always about to happen. But, do you have a camera? Rick, given. A photographer's gotta have cameras out the ear like corn to be a pro, you know? So I'm hanging around here. Speaking of cameras and beating them out, do you have mine, you bread thief? Why can't you just drop that thief thing already? I mean, here, I think I can just give you back the camera. Nope, okay, cool. I don't think I give you back it then. I want to ask you about the night of murder. What? You really gonna shell out the bucks for the info I got? Lada, you were loitering in this hallway the night of the murder, were you not? Well, kinda, but brace yourself, Phoenix. Here it comes. I didn't exactly hang around here the entire time, you know? Followed a few stars around, got a few autographs, shook a few hands, had a soda pop with a few of them too. Looks like she wasn't here the entire time that night. The security lady wasn't in this hallway the whole time either. I guess that means there's no one who can tell us who came and went that night. So, about the note that was inside your camera case. Oh, that ditty I wrote? Yeah. Can I believe what you've written? You mean the stuff about On Guard shoving his manager lady on the corrida? Yeah. Well, I reckon you best not be believing that. What? Look, I sort of wrote that on a whim, you know? Writing whatever came to mind. Whatever came to mind? Yeah. When you get down to it, there's just a lot of random bull-dooders. Hey, what's with you? Why are you staring at me like my grandpa used to? Hey, and why do you look like you suddenly got older too? Or am I just shrinking here? Baby, my $1,600 baby. And what's with that red-coated prosecutor anyhow? That guy told me it was evidence and refused to give it back to me. Well, that's kind of how it is. Hey, you're that redcoat's friend, ain't you? So, put in a good few words for me and get me back my camera. You want me to do what? Listen, nag the guy real good for about 5 hours and I guarantee he'll give it back. Why don't you do your own dirty work? Well, I reckon it's time for me to get going. A tabloid photographer is nothing without a camera. A tabloid photographer without a camera is just a tabloid. Huh? Yeah, I guess so. Keep yourself together out there, you hear? I'm coming to see ya in court tomorrow. Okay, I'll see you then, I guess. And you too there, little one. Keep up the good work, okay?
Okay. Don't be picky about your food now. Okay. Make sure you do all your homework, you hear? Okay.
And if you happen to... Would you please just leave already? I'm not making those noises.
But Mr. Nick, what is that otherworldly ghastly moaning? I hate evil ghosts! Ah!
I don't think it's a ghost.
Maybe it's a demon? Excuse me? What are you calling a demon, brat?
Ah! Zoinks! It's the alien!
Who are you calling an alien?
Oh, it's just you, Miss Old Bag.
What are you doing here? What is wrong with you youngins not today? I came down here to pay my respects to poor Juan, and you're disturbing me.
Please, just talk to me about the night of the murder. Just one more time.
I talked about it plenty at the trial. I was fooled, tricked, deceived by that private photographer and her note. She was loitering around here with that imbecilic look on her face.
That imbecilic look on her face. Okay, got it.
Now hold on a second here, you little pipsqueak. If you're going to take notes, at least make me sound better than that.
Oh, alright. Now I've seen everything.
But you know, I was working that night too, doing my job, minding my own business. So it's not like I had time to waste standing around here the whole night.
I was wondering if you could tell me a bit more about Mr. Kurita.
It was the most popular star, you know? Especially where it counts, in my book.
But I heard that he was lagging behind the polls against Mr. Ungard.
Well, that's just a recent thing. Bad luck and all, you know? But he was going to become an even bigger star than he used to be. Look at this mountain of presents. It's a show of the mountain of feelings all his fans had for him.
Yeah, the mountain is pretty big and certainly nothing to shake a stick at.
Mr. Nick,
Huh? What is it, Pearls?
the presents, they're all bears, right?
Well, she's got a point. There isn't a single thing here that isn't a bear. So why bears? All of Mr. Kurita's presents from his fans seem to be bears.
Oh, that's because you can't think of Juan without thinking about bears.
Bears?
Why bears?
You don't know? When my dear Juan was training, he fought barehanded with a bear. He refused to give in and let the bear win. But after the fight, they became friends.
Wow, what a heartwarming story.
It's a jammin' ninja story, ain't it?
Look, it's just like in those young people's dramas. I can see those two tuckered out down by a river going, heh, you can sure put up a fight. You too, Bub, you too.
Did all that really happen?
It's in his biography, Bub.
What a load of crock.
So, ever since then, fans have been giving him bears as presents.
Yeah, nice. Bears.
I'm Uncle Bear, and I say it's barely 8 o'clock.
What is that infernal racket?
It's one of the presents going off. Sounds like it's already 8 p.m. Way past your bedtime.
That startled me. I thought for a second I was going to die for a second.
8 p.m. That's the time when the awards ceremony ended that night, remember?
Time sure flies. Hard to believe it's been 2 days since the ceremony.
The transceiver!
Hello? Hello? This is not a phone. Maya! How is Maya? You haven't heard her, have you? It seems you were not able to fulfill your end of the bargain, Mr. Attorney. I have heard the news. So it would seem my present did you no good. No! Mystic Maya! Mystic Maya! One more day, please. All I ask is for one more day. I'll get a not guilty verdict for sure this time. Please. I suppose if I must. I'll need that acquittal more than anything.
I need that acquittal more than anything else, after all. Please. Please let Maya say something. I want to hear she's alright. Alright. Then, a little... Aww. What is with the static all of a sudden? Hello? Hello? It seems... bad. Connect. Damn it! Did the transceiver just suddenly break? Excuse me. Pfft, gone. Well, what happened? I don't know. All of a sudden it became nothing but static. Ah, Mystic Maya, Mystic Maya! Why did the transceiver suddenly break like that? I should probably have an electronics expert look at it. The sooner the better. Probably not you. I feel like it's Gumshoe. Of anyone here, it's probably Gumshoe. He has a whole... No, it's not Gumshoe. Von Karma! Wow, everybody looks busy with something or another. Yeah, they're probably strengthening the evidence for tomorrow's trial.
Hey, hurry up with that, will ya? Pass that victims list around.
You've got to be kidding. There's over 100 people on here. Mr. Nick? Is Mr. Ungard really that big and bad of a criminal? Actually, Earl's... Never mind. It sounds like they're working on a different case. Alright.
Hey! Welcome back, pal. I thought I'd make you a little something for dinner.
That's nice. Thanks.
A rich man's luxurious full-course meal. Out of a can, that is.
I'm sorry you went through the trouble to cook, but I don't have the time to eat.
Looks like you don't have a can opener, pal.
You've got to be kidding. And here I thought he had already whipped something up.
Oh, I know. There's one way I know how to be helpful. Ask me about anything you want, pal. Go ahead.
Well, since he's here and offering, I wonder what I should try asking him about. Hey, buddy, you want to look at this?
The transceiver?
Oh, Mr. Nick, you should ask Mr. Scruffy Detective about that thing.
What thing?
Oh, yeah, this thing just up and broke all of a sudden.
It broke, pal?
When I was talking to the kidnapper, it just suddenly broke into static. Look, it sounded like this.
I don't hear any static, pal. What?
Maybe it fixed itself? That's strange. I'm sure it was making a loud static noise.
Maybe.
Maybe what?
Maybe it was electromagnetic interference, pal.
Electromagnetic interference? What you talking about, bud? So what is electromagnetic interference?
It's something that happens when a radio wave gets mixed in with another signal, pal.
Oh, when you put it that way. I don't understand what you're talking about.
Like, for example, when a cell phone goes off next to a computer screen, the stuff on the screen gets kind of fuzzy and acting funny, right?
What the fuck are you talking about? That's never happened. Huh? Computer? It's like when you use the dryer next to the TV and the screen starts looking weird. No, yes, the TV does do that. Oh, so that's what you're talking about. She seems amazingly happy at being able to understand this.
So, the room you were in when that interference to the transceiver happened, there's gonna be something that's sending out a very strong radio waves, pal. Something like, like a listening device or something.
Nah.
Hey, speaking of that, where were you when it happened?
We were in Mr. Karita's room.
The scene of the murder. What? That's it. I'm going to sneak into the precinct and get a bug sweeper. I'll meet you at the scene of the crime later, alright, pal?
Wait,
Gumshoe!
Oh yeah, baby. I'm on fire, pal. My fingers are itching to go. Yeah!
We should be going too, Mr. Nick. Alright, let's go. Go! Gotta go fast! Gotta go! Gotta go! Gotta go faster, 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 faster! Sonic X! It's gotta be in one of these goddamn teddy bears.
Hey, you're finally here, pal.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Do you have the, bug sweeper?
Well, you see, I got busted trying to sneak in, pal. Then suddenly, I'm staring at the precinct doors. From the outside, I mean. So, yeah, I couldn't get one of those police bug sweepers.
What do you mean you couldn't get one? We needed that item.
Hey, calm down, pal. I didn't say I couldn't get one. Just not the police's.
Wow. So this is a bug sweeper.
It looks a little broken. Hey, this was made when I was in elementary school, pal.
Oh, by who?
Me, of course. Seeing this sure brings back memories. Hey, don't look down on it, pal. Sure, it looks a little beat up, but I put my heart and soul into building this puppy here.
Your heart and soul?
It'll work. Trust me, pal. It'll do the job. But you can't set the sensitivity. So it's going to beep anything that gives off electromagnetic waves.
But isn't it better that way?
Oh, well, anyway, since I brought it all this way, I might as well give it a whirl, right, pal?
I'm getting that sinking feeling again.
Okay, now I'll tell you how to use this baby. There's a listening device or some other sort of bug hidden in this room, pal.
So we're going to find it, right? It's probably in the phone.
Right, so first, let's turn the sweeper off. Now, move the sweeper around to give the room a real thorough look-see, pal. The sweeper will let you know how strong of a signal it's picking up, so keep an eye on it, okay? Once you find something that's giving off a lot of radio waves, press enter to lock onto it. There's a lot of things here that's going to give off radio waves. So, let's take a good look at everything that seems suspicious, okay, pal? Alright, I'm going to stand outside and keep an eye out. Give me a yell if you find the bug. Got it, pal?
Let's... Oh! Yeah, of course, that's gonna show. So, this. Ah, what a lovely bear. Ah! It must be one of those fancy bear-shaped toy robots. It's a robot? It's a real robot? Yeah, it's a real one. Mr. Nick? Yeah? How many horsepowers is it? How many horsies? Horsies? Well, look, it's a bear, so, it's gotta be one of these bears. The calculator? It says 50 on it. Maybe he was calculating his allowance? A whole 50 cents? Maybe if he was a spirit medium. Well, it certainly looks like an alarm clock. What's wrong? Why do you look troubled? I just can't imagine the listening device being inside of this alarm clock. It just sort of reminded me of something that happened a long time ago. Well, anyway, it looks like the listening device isn't in here. I would have guessed it was in there. Oh! This is just a giant stuffed teddy bear, right? It's the biggest one I've ever seen.
Hey, so did you guys find it yet? The listening device, I mean?
No, not yet. But this bear's eye is...
Let's see. A perfectly normal stuffed bear with some really strong radio waves. Sounds like you found the device to me, pal. Let's dig this big fella's eye out and see what we've got.
No, you can't. Such a violent act. No!
It's a miniature camera. And it looks like there's more. There's a transmitter and a timer.
What emitter?
A transmitter, pal.
Oh, is this more of that high-tech stuff?
So, this tiny thing is a camera?
Yep, it's a pinhole CCD camera, pal. It's a small, high-grade video camera that's mostly used in security systems.
So, it's a video camera.
It runs on the battery, which comes with it in a set.
But there's no videotape in this camera.
This is only the camera part here, pal. The tape recorder with the tape inside it is somewhere else.
Somewhere else?
The footage is changed into radio waves and then sent to that recorder.
So, it's sort of like a TV broadcast, isn't it?
Hey, you're right.
So, what is a transmitter?
It's a device that sends the footage the camera took to a specific destination. It's like a video version of a listening device, pal.
It looks like it's attached to a small clock-like thing.
Oh, that's a timer, pal. You can set it to turn the camera on and record at a certain time with it.
You can set it for a certain time?
Yep. Now, let's see. This looks like it was set to start at 8 p.m. and go on for 1 hour.
8 p.m.? That was the time when the award ceremony ended.
There's no date set, so it's been recording every night, I guess.
Mr. Detective, how long has this bear been here?
I'm pretty sure it's been here since the night of the murder.
Then, maybe...
Maybe this camera caught the murder on tape!
What?
And if you think about the angle the bear is at, it's bound to have a clear shot of the whole crime, pal.
So there was a camera in this bear's eye, and it was disguised as a present.
And I'm sure it was here on the night of the murder, pal. It's pretty big, so it stands out pretty well in my mind.
But who gave Mr. Kurita this present?
I don't know, pal. But this means that someone out there's got a video of what happened here that night.
Isn't there any way we can find out who that person is?
It's impossible, pal. Radio waves can be sent almost anywhere, so there's no real way to find out.
Oh. Is there really no way to find out?
I got it.
What?
Hey, pal, let me borrow this mini camera for a bit.
What are you gonna do?
I'm going to go around the electronic shops and see if I can find out who bought this.
But that's impossible. I mean, it's already 9 p.m.
Leave it to me. Even if I have to search all night, I'll find your man, pal. Oh yeah, baby, it's investigating time. I'm on fire, pal. My fingers are itching to go. Yeah!
He's gone. Yeah. But Mr. Scruffy Detective sure is a nice man. He's pushing himself so hard all for Mystic Maya's sake.
It's a mystery how you always manage to do things in the most inefficient ways, right?
Duh!
You'll have to excuse me. I heard your conversation just now. Edgeworth, what are you doing here? A rescue team has been created and deployed. I can't say I'm optimistic, but we have to move forward, one step at a time.
I see.
Thanks. Don't thank me yet. We still have to find her. So there was a spy camera hidden inside this stuffed animal, huh? You are one lucky man, right?
Do you know this stuffed bear, little girl? I have no idea.
Of course not. The maker of this bear is a very expensive luxury brand from overseas. It's completely handmade, and only a small number of these are exported here.
What?
The camera and transmitter are Scatterbrain, that's Scatterbrain Detective,
took with him are dead ends. Things like those can be bought anywhere. However, this bear is different. By tracking how it got into this country, this bear can tell us who the buyer is. Can you really do that? Mr. Nick, can he really? Well, I guess so. It's 9 p.m. I think I could still make it in time. I'll be taking this for now. I'm sure you have other things you have to do. See you soon, Wright? Wait. What? Why are you doing this? I have no interest in explaining myself to someone who cannot comprehend. Besides that, Wright? Until court reconvenes tomorrow, you should concern yourself with this question. Who was the person that murdered Juan Carita? The real killer. Do you really still think it was Adrian Andrews? To be honest, I don't know anymore. You still have a little time left. Find the truth, Wright? Everything begins with the truth. Juan Carita's killer. Miss Andrews passed. The kidnapper whose sole condition is an acquittal from Mr. On Guard. And this card. Shelly D. Killer. Maya. The only way I can save you now is to find all the answers to this case tonight. I don't understand what your real intentions are, Edgeworth. But as you said, all I can do for now is find the truth. I could. But I really want to finish this case. Like, I want to have the Christmas season opened up. Yeah. Yeah, I won't be able to finish this till next Friday, which is like the 6th. Oh, it's not trial time. How long? What? Let's just look. Let's just look. Let's just go on for another half hour. I could just leave it there. Actually, that would be a perfect cutoff point, wouldn't it? You know what? Sure. It'll be trial time in a half an hour. And how long do you think the trial's going to take? I kind of want to just finish this. With your wits... Shut the fuck up. It's past 9 p.m. already, isn't it? I wonder if Mr. Edgeworth has already found Mystic Maya. These things take time. I'd say probably not. The police are professionals, Pearls. They'll find her. Don't you worry. And if we can win a not guilty verdict tomorrow, then everything will be okay. You're right. Who could have hired the assassin? Do you think it was Miss Andrews? No. I wonder. But if she was the client, then why would go through the effort to stab the knife into the corpse herself? But if Miss Andrews wasn't the client, then no, it can't be. Matt on guard himself? We're gonna back off and see. Let's get back to Matt. Wow, it's really getting late, isn't it, Mr. Nick? Yeah, it's past 9 p.m. already. But we still have some things to prepare for tomorrow's trial. There's still the matter of the secret Mr. Carita held about Mr. On Guard. And Miss Andrews' real intentions. These are two things I must know tonight. But aren't visiting hours over at the detention center? I'm sure we'll think of something, Pearls. Don't you worry. We're going on a trip
don't like voicing you! Hey, wait! Fuck! What is it, whippersnapper? All I know is, nothing that has anything good to do with you is ever good. Just like now, I was handed this strange device for who knows what reason. I was told to use it to search the whole hotel.
That's the bug sweeper, isn't it? The one Gumshoe made.
I don't know, and frankly, I don't care. But the request came from Edgy Poo, so...
Edgeworth?
He said...
If you feel angry, direct your anger at that unsophisticated lawyer.
So, I'm going to feel free to direct all my anger towards you.
Gee. Thanks a bundle, Edgeworth. What a pal you are.
So you find anything? This is absolutely top secret, so you had better keep it to yourselves. I had heard they found a spy camera hidden in one of the presents.
Very interesting.
I'm sure it was, you know. It was to catch poor Juan in the middle of a scandalous meeting.
Scandalous? What's that?
It means, well, you know, that gossip that's been going on around my dear Juan.
Oh, you mean that thing about Miss Andrews. But I'm sure she must have had a reason for getting close to Mr. Kurita.
I'll let you in on another secret, youngin'. I know who planted that spy camera. It was that obnoxious, puffy-haired photographer girl. The nerve of some people. Spying on people by herself, as if I wouldn't want to see it for myself, too.
Wow. The alien actually admitted her true intentions for a change.
I don't know what you're thinking exactly, but I can bet it's nothing good.
But I didn't say anything.
So you know about Juan and that manager, right?
Actually, as I hear it,
They were something of a refreshing pair, those two.
oh,
I tell you, Juan was really welcomed that manager with open arms, Aaron.
that manager, what are you talking about?
You don't know? That manager Juan had. It's a shame she killed herself, though.
Oh, you're talking about Miss Celeste. Miss Andrews' mentor, right?
Yes, that's the one.
That Celeste girl.
She was supposed to get married, you know.
Married? You mean to Mr. Kurita?
Nah, you really don't know young kids today, don't you? Really, you young kids today don't know anything, do you? That girl, Celeste, killed herself 3 days after their marriage announcement.
3 days after their marriage announcement? What in the fuck? Why would Miss Impact want to kill herself? She was going to get married.
Well, that's because she was thrown away, you see, by Juan.
What? But they were going to get married, right? Promised each other, right?
They held a grand announcement session, but 3 days later, Juan suddenly canceled their marriage.
Is that true?
It was in the weekly magazines.
But why? Why did he do that?
That was not in the magazines, unfortunately.
I see.
That night, after Juan called off the wedding, that manager, Celeste, killed herself.
How terrible. I wonder what happened between those two.
Alright, that's all the info I'm gonna get out of you, old bag.
On that night, there must have been at least a few hundred people here. Huh. I guess the police are done with their questioning and investigating. Looks like things here in the lobby have finally calmed down. Can I, like... I'm willing to bet nothing here, so... Back in here! I want to look in here. Looks like no one is around. What happened to that person with the stuffed teddy face? Oh, she must mean that butler with the stitches in his face. Shoo! Oh, there you are. I guess you're still awake, huh, Shoo? Well, come on, let's play. I wonder if that butler, Mr. Doe, is already asleep or not. Alright. It was worth a look. Back here? It doesn't look like Mr. Scruffy Detective is here. Well, he's out there with that camera asking all around the electronics stores. Then I'll make some salad
for him for dinner. It looks like Pearls really appreciates the gum she was doing for us. Mr. Nick? Yeah? Where is the lettuce? I don't think I've ever bought lettuce before. Aw, I guess I'll have to give up on making a salad then. I guess the lack of lettuce is kind of a problem. Detention center. Let's look in here. Visiting hours ended a few hours ago. Looks like we're not going to get a chance to talk with Mr. On Guard tonight. Isn't what we have to ask very important? Yeah, but I don't think that matters to the guard. Alright, it was worth a try. It feels sort of tense in here, doesn't it, Mr. Nick? Yeah, it does. I wonder if something happened. You're Mr. On Guard's lawyer, right? Yes, sir. Well, we finally found just the person we've been looking for. A real decisive witness. A decisive witness? You mean for the On Guard case? We're taking the witness's statement right now. Gotta hand it to Mr. Edgeworth. What's Edgeworth up to now? Who's this witness? I think you know this person quite well, Mr. Lawyer. Mr. Nick? Between the kidnapper's demand and now this, I can't see any way to win here. Oh, yeah. Mr. Edgeworth wanted me to tell you something. He did? Even though visiting hours are long over at the detention center, he wanted me to grant you special permission. So, there you go. What? I've already called them, so they know. Go on. Go talk to your heart's content. Thank you very much. This is such good news, Mr. Nick. Go talk to your heart's content. As long as the police are pretty sure they have tomorrow's trial in the bag. Let's go talk to our man. I'm sure they must have transferred Miss Andrews here by now. So that means both Mr. On Guard and Miss Andrews are in this detention center. Now then, whose story do I want to hear? Let's listen to the big boy first. Dude! It's Mr. Wright. I hope you can get me off the hook tomorrow. I'm counting on you. I hope so too. Edgeworth just dropped a bombshell on me by saying that Juan Carita was killed by an assassin, and that the assassin's client is this man, Matt On Guard. What's wrong? Mr. On Guard? There's something I must know with 100% certainty. You seem kinda different. You're totally not like your usual lawyer dude self. About the press conference? You mean the one where Juan was gonna dress up as the Nickel Samurai? Yeah. I heard a little bit more about it from Miss Andrews. It looked like somehow Juan had it in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed. Could you please fill me in on what this secret is? Please. Oh! Oh God! I knew this was coming. Mr. Nick, don't tell me. Psyche locks. You said a secret, right? But I don't have any idea what it is, do you, dude? Did you know about Mr. Carita and Miss Andrews' relationship? Well, it's all over the tabloids, dude. But I don't know any of the details, if that's what you mean. Look, how many times do I have to tell you? I don't care what Juan did with his life. And Miss Andrews, she had a purpose in mind when she started seeing Mr. Carita. Her mentor was Mr. Carita's manager. And Miss Andrews was going to get Miss Celeste Impact's suicide note from him. Celeste? Does that jog any memories? Dude, I suddenly just got totally hungry. You up for a pizza? My treat.
Mr. Nick, what's a pizza? Is it a kind of pea, like green peas? Let's go eat one later, okay?
I got cut up with a pizza dude at the shop.
That's too bad.
Well, how about we get our minds off of this topic and talk about something else, okay?
Mr. On Guard, are you connected to Miss Impact's suicide in some way? Tell me, Canadian, do I have everything I need to break this secret? I don't think so. So I back out. Not even close. Fair enough. Adrian? Oh, it's you. I'm sorry to be visiting at such a late hour. But there are a few questions I absolutely have to ask you tonight. Me? I thought your client was Matt. I'm sure Miss Andrews knows something. She can't be clueless about the secret Mr. Kurita had on Mr. On Guard. I'd like to ask you about Matt On Guard, if you don't mind. Mr. Wright, you still don't know, do you? The real him, I mean. You seem to bear a lot of resentment towards Mr. On Guard. If that's the case, then why did you become his manager? And why did you become intimate with his rival? That has nothing to do with this case. Nothing. About Miss Celeste Impacts. I had finally put her death behind me. And now, thanks to you, it's all come back to the surface. That was Edgeworth. That was all Edgeworth, okay? I'm sorry. Yes, I was shocked by her suicide. And it's true that when I heard the rumor that Juan was the one who had hidden her suicide note, I'd begun to draw close to him. I wanted to get her suicide note back and to burn it. You wanted to burn it, but why? I didn't want it to be spread like another piece of gossip. But I never held any murderous intent towards Juan. I could never do something so stupid. The suicide note, huh? I wonder what it said. But why did you try and frame Mr. On Guard? That's simple. Because he's the killer, that's why. Isn't it the duty of every good citizen to inform the police? But there had to be another way. The police are excellent at doing their job, so they'd figure it out, right? Yes, they're good at what they're so good that they couldn't figure out the real truth behind Celeste's death. Miss Andrews. Well, I know you're not the type of person to do something without a reason. So please, tell me why you did what you did. Revenge. Huh? Did you say something just now? A psyche lock, huh? I could probably crack this one. Don't you understand yet? You're not my lawyer, to be honest. You're more like my enemy. But I'm sure I just heard Miss Andrews say, revenge. I feel like I could crack that. I feel like I could crack that easy. Can you please tell me why you framed Mr. On Guard for the murder? I've already told you countless times. It's because I thought Matt was the killer. No, that's not it. I know you have a personal reason to dislike Mr. On Guard. Miss Andrews, you may think I didn't hear it, but I know you said something earlier. You said revenge. So you're saying I was taking my revenge out on Matt, and that's why? What an absurd idea. I don't have anything I want to take revenge for. Miss Andrews, a woman who lives by being dependent on other people. There's something or someone in her past that would make her take revenge. Well, who else would it be other than Celeste? Celeste. There is only one catalyst that could cause such strong feelings, and even revenge. And that is Miss Impax's suicide. What are you trying to say? Celeste was Juan's manager. On top of that, the one who hit her suicide note was also Juan. What does all this have to do with Matt? You're right. You haven't mentioned him. Yet. But for you to hate Mr. On Guard, it would mean that he must have some relation to Miss Impax and her suicide. The relation between Celeste and Matt. Oh! I got nothing! It'd be the photo! The photo in the fucking back room! Let's go back. Let me examine that fucking door. Watch the door be unlocked this time around. Whoops. Too far. Ah! Why is it up at the top? I'm so dumb. You, examine this door. There's a small door at the bottom. I bet it's for... Okay, can we just see? It's locked tight. Fuck! There's gotta be something here. You shouldn't go wandering off over there, Mr. Nick. Yeah, Pearls. There's gotta be something in here. Damn it! So what am I missing? So there's a connection between Matt and Celeste. I don't know. I'm at a blank here. And I can't re-enter Matt's room. So, son of a bitch. Hey! Is there something I'm supposed to show? Hey, Matt, do you want to see a calling card? Yeah, sure, give me a hint. Sure. Cops? Bad boy, what you gonna do? Mate. Talk to Pearls. Oh. I had to finish talking to Pearls. Of course. So, the real person who killed Mr. Carita was an assassin, Mr. Shelley, the killer, right? And the card Miss Andrews found at the crime scene seems to be proof of that. But if that's the case, a new question comes to mind. Who was the one that hired the killer to begin with? Who is his client? You mean, who asked for the murder? That person didn't want to dirty their own hands in blood. But whoever this client is, they're still a killer. If Mr. On Guard really did hire that assassin, he is not innocent at all. Far from it. He would be guilty of the crime. But it can't be Mr. On Guard, right? I mean, when we first talked with him... Mr. On Guard, I'd like to ask you one more question. Did you kill Mr. Juan Carita? Alright. Just so we're clear, dude. I didn't kill anyone. And that includes Juan Carita, okay? I didn't see any psyche locks at that time. Actually, that reminds me. Did you remember something, Nick? Yeah. Something Miss Andrews said at the trial today. She said something interesting. Nah, so what was this interesting thing? No, that's right. You didn't hear it, did you, Pearls? Juan had bet everything on the Champion Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, He was going to make sure Matt was going to go down with him. That's what he thought anyway. It looks like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed. Mr. On Guard's secret? What is the secret? I don't know yet. But for now, let's think about it this way. Mr. Kurita was going to reveal this secret. That means Mr. On Guard had plenty of motive to have Mr. Kurita silenced. Which means we have to meet with Mr. On Guard. There's no way around it now. And now I go talk with Mr. On Guard. And say, hey, did you hire a Hey, buddy. I'm kind of scared to show him this card. What's wrong, dude? No, about this picture card. Have you ever seen this before?
Nope. Never saw it before in my life, dude.
I don't think he's lying. Or is he? And again, he looked like he gasped just now. Maybe I'm seeing things? Hey, do you have a butler? So, about this person.
He
is your butler, Mr. Doe, right? We met him at your mansion.
Yeah, that's right. He's a pretty cool dude who can do lots of things. He takes real good care of me.
Damn it! I don't have anything else. What am I missing here? Canadian! Please! I'm calling it a lifeline! I don't think I can crack that. I need, like, the secret. I don't know what the secret could be. It has something to do with the suicide. And it's probably not even a suicide, to be honest. Oh, Mr. Wright, please, you have to help me. Uh-oh. Mr. Powers! What happened? Why are you here?
You see, I got roped into this somehow.
What?
And now I'm going to testify at tomorrow's trial.
So, the decisive witness is Mr. Powers?
I was talking with a detective until a little while ago. And, I was on my way home. And when all of a sudden, you there! You're under arrest! And I was brought back here. They said my face and whole self in general looked suspicious or something.
Well, I guess I could see how they thought you looked suspicious.
I'm just a normal guy on an exercise show for kids. Is that a crime?
You good, bud? So, about this testimony you're giving, what are you going to talk about?
I really don't know yet. But it sounds like I saw something pretty important from what they tell me.
You saw something important? What was it?
Well, the detective told me not to talk about it. You can't tell anyone, especially not that lawyer, he said.
What do you think it is, that lawyer, the detective? Who do you think that is that lawyer the detective was talking about? I'm going to take a wild guess and say it's me.
Yeah, you got it.
Mr. Nick, Mystic Maya and myself are your only two allies in this whole world. But it's alright. Ow! I really don't have a lot of friends, do I?
This is going to do a lot of damage to Matt, you know? Because he's got that refreshing like a spring breeze image going. But
what is he really like?
Well, let's see. Matt's always been kind of a player with women. he would never really turn a pretty face away, if you know what I mean. He'd always say, it's just a game, to justify himself.
What? How horrible. That's unforgivable. I mean, it's a famous person move.
Yeah, oh, sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. But, you know, he once said that there's only one person in the world who won't swoon over me.
One person who wouldn't swoon over him?
His manager, you know. Miss Adrian Andrews.
Why is Mr. Powers suddenly looking kind of energetic?
You see, I'm actually a sucker for gossip. I mean, celebrities in the world have this dazzling sort of image, right?
A dazzling sort of image? Aren't you a part of that dazzle, Mr. Powers?
No, I'm more of a hairy, sweaty, smelly, brutish kind of guy, you see? But it's okay, really. I get to hear plenty of gossip about a lot of the other stars around me as things happen.
Well, that's true.
Oh, hey, did you hear about this yet? About Miss Andrews' mentor and her suicide?
You mean Miss Impacts? You heard something about how her wedding was canceled?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I thought about it the other day, and about that mysterious death. Hey, Mr. Wright, why don't you go and ask me about that? Go on, go ahead.
Mr. Powers is so charged up, his skin is practically glowing with electricity. Alright, what do you know? And then I'm calling it.
Hey, so, have you heard this? Celeste left a suicide note. And they say that Juan went and hid it.
Yeah, we heard about that in court today. But there wasn't any actual proof that she had left a note.
Well, this is what I think. I think that something bad was written on that note. Something bad for Juan, that is.
Something bad for Mr. Kurita? Why do you figure so?
Well, before she died, Celeste talked with a few of her friends. And she said, it looks like I got caught up with a truly insidious man.
A truly insidious man? Did she mean Mr. Kurita by that?
Well, there's no one else that fits the bill, right? And that would be the reason enough for him to hide the suicide note.
I see. Well, that's some good info. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. On Guard and Miss Andrews. They're both at the detention center right now. There are still things I don't understand or know about, I'm sure. I have to get the two of them to tell me everything. Mr. Nick, your phone.
Hey, that's the Steel Samurai theme song, isn't it?
I don't like the sound of this ringtone right now. It sounds kind of ominous.
Yeah, I know.
Hello?
We're in trouble now, pal. I'll be back at the office real soon.
What's wrong?
Something's really unexpected just happened. Mr. Edgeworth, he...
Edgeworth?
Anyway, hurry up and get back to the office, pal. I don't know what's going on.
Hello? He got cut off. What's going on, Mr. Nick? Gumshoe said we needed to head back to the office right away. Then, we should hurry back. I'm scared to go back. What are you talking about? Mr. Nick, pull yourself together.
Maybe it'll be good news.
Somehow I doubt that. Alright. There. There's your cliffhanger. Alright, everybody. I'll see about finishing this. Instead of Xenoblade Monday, I'm just gonna knock out Phoenix Wright. No, Sunday night. When I get home from work, Sunday night, I'll finish off Phoenix Wright, and then for Monday, instead of Xenoblade, we're just gonna play Pokemon. Sound good?
Sounds good. We'll get back to Xenoblade in a while. But, hey, Christmas season. 'Tis the season. We got Pokemon and Skylanders. Christmas time. Have a good night, everybody.